In the heart of Austin, Texas lies a reservoir that has long been the city's crown jewel. Lady Bird Lake is not a natural lake. It is a man-made body of water, a section of the Colorado River dammed up to create a serene oasis for the capital city. Locals and tourists flock to its shores every day. They come to kayak, to paddleboard, and to jog along the scenic trails that hug its banks. The lake reflects the shimmering downtown skyline, a perfect picture of modern Austin's vibrant and active lifestyle. It is a place for recreation and relaxation, a backdrop for countless sunny afternoons and community events. For decades, it has been seen as a symbol of the city's unique charm and outdoor spirit. But since 2022, a shadow has fallen over this beloved landmark. A grim series of events has begun to tarnish its idyllic reputation. One by one, bodies have been recovered from its waters, turning a place of leisure into a source of deep public anxiety. Between 2022 and the early summer of 2025, an unsettling number of people, 19 in total, have been found dead in the lake. The frequency of these discoveries has left the community shaken and searching for answers. What was once unthinkable has become a recurring headline. Each new recovery sends a fresh wave of concern through the city, prompting questions that have no easy answers, and casting a dark pall over the water. The victims have often been young men, many of whom were last seen enjoying a night out in the nearby Rainy Street Entertainment District. This popular area is known for its bustling bars and restaurants, just a short walk from the lake's edge. The pattern seemed chillingly consistent, especially during a cluster of deaths in early 2023. A young man would get separated from his friends after a night of socializing, go missing, and later be found in the lake. The proximity of the nightlife district to the dark, unlit shoreline of the lake created a troubling connection that fueled a growing sense of unease and suspicion among Austin residents. This disturbing trend has transformed the public perception of Lady Bird Lake. It is no longer just a place for peaceful recreation. For many, it has become a place associated with tragedy and mystery. The tranquil surface of the water now seems to hide a sinister secret. The conversations among Austinites have shifted from planning weekend activities on the lake to discussing the latest grim news. The fear is palpable, a constant undercurrent in a city that prides itself on being safe and welcoming. The question on everyone's mind is a simple but terrifying one: what is really happening at Lady Bird Lake? As the number of deaths increased, so did the speculation. In the absence of clear, reassuring answers from officials, the public imagination began to run wild. The most persistent and frightening rumor was that of a serial killer. On social media platforms and in hushed conversations, a terrifying narrative took hold. People spoke of a phantom figure dubbed the Rainy Street Ripper, who they believed was targeting young men, drugging them, and pushing them into the lake to drown. This theory provided a simple, albeit horrifying, explanation for the string of tragedies. It was a story that spread quickly, fed by fear and a growing distrust of the official explanations. The idea of a predator stalking the streets of Austin resonated with many. It seemed to explain the strange circumstances surrounding some of the cases. Why were so many victims found in the same area? How could so many people accidentally fall into the lake? These questions fueled the serial killer narrative, creating a powerful story that was hard to dismiss. Facebook groups like the Lady Bird Lake serial killer gained thousands of members, becoming online hubs for amateur sleuths to share theories, dissect news reports, and express their shared conviction that something wicked was at play. For them, the deaths were not a series of unrelated accidents but a calculated pattern of murder. However, the Austin Police Department and other city officials have consistently pushed back against this narrative. From the beginning, they have stated that there is no evidence to support the serial killer theory. Investigators have repeatedly announced that they have found no signs of foul play in the vast majority of the cases. They have pointed out that the deaths, while tragic, are not connected in a way that suggests a single perpetrator. The official stance has been firm. These are individual incidents, each with its own set of unfortunate circumstances, not the work of a murderer hiding in the shadows of the city. The official causes of death, as determined by the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office, paint a very different picture from the one painted by online theorists. Most of the deaths have been officially ruled as accidental drownings. In many cases, substance impairment was a contributing factor. Other deaths have been attributed to suicide or natural causes, such as a sudden medical emergency like a heart attack. For example, the most recent recovery in June 2025 was a 17-year-old boy who tragically drowned after stepping off an underwater shelf while swimming with his family. Officials argue that these facts, not rumors, should guide the public's understanding of what is happening. The gap between the official narrative and public suspicion has created a deep sense of division within the Austin community. Many residents feel that their concerns are being dismissed by the very authorities meant to protect them. This frustration has led to organized action. In 2024, a Change.org petition demanding a more thorough investigation and improved safety measures around the lake gained significant traction, gathering over 6,000 signatures. The petition called for practical changes such as installing better lighting along the trails, adding more surveillance cameras and erecting fences or barriers in poorly lit, high-risk areas near the water's edge. It was a clear message from citizens that they wanted more than just reassurances. This public outcry is rooted in a growing distrust of law enforcement. Some families of the victims have been vocal about their belief that police investigations were not thorough enough. The family of Martin Gutierrez, who was found in the lake in 2018, has long suspected he was drugged and that the police too quickly closed his case. This sentiment is echoed by many online. University of Texas professor Kate Winsler Dawson suggests this skepticism isn't new. She points to a broader generational erosion of trust in official institutions, arguing that past high-profile police failures have made the public less willing to accept official statements at face value. In response to the mounting pressure and widespread misinformation, the Austin Police Department and local media have made efforts to be more transparent. They have released data and maps showing the locations and circumstances of each death, hoping to counter the serial killer rumors with cold, hard facts. A former APD public information officer, Dimitri Hobbs, offered a blunt assessment, attributing the deaths to drunk guys getting too close to the water and accidentally falling in. While this explanation lacks sensitivity, it reflects the department's consistent position that these are tragic accidents, often involving alcohol rather than homicides. Despite these efforts, the community remains on edge. The police statements and data releases have not been enough to quell the fears of many. The debate continues to rage on social media, in neighborhood meetings, and among friends. One side argues for trusting the evidence presented by investigators and medical examiners. The other side insists that the sheer number of deaths points to something more sinister that officials are either missing or covering up. This fundamental disagreement has left Austin a community grappling not only with loss, but also with a profound sense of uncertainty and division over who to believe and what is truly safe. To understand why these tragedies might be happening, it is important to look at the expert opinions and the physical realities of Lady Bird Lake. Forensic experts note that investigating deaths in water is incredibly difficult. When a body has been submerged for a period of time, the water can wash away or degrade potential evidence. This makes it challenging to determine a precise cause of death and can complicate toxicology reports, making it hard to know if someone was drugged. The limitations of forensic science in these situations mean that some questions may never be answered with absolute certainty, which can unfortunately leave room for speculation to grow and fester. The environment around the lake itself presents significant risks. The Rainy Street District, a hub of nightlife, is dangerously close to sections of the lake that are poorly lit and have no barriers. A person who is disoriented or impaired by alcohol could easily wander off the path in the dark and fall into the water. The shoreline has steep, unexpected drop-offs in many places. Combining alcohol, darkness, and unfamiliar terrain creates a perilous scenario. Experts suggest that these environmental factors, rather than a malicious actor, are the most likely contributors to the series of accidental drownings that have been officially recorded by the authorities. Ultimately, navigating this complex and emotional issue requires a commitment to separating fact from fear. While the idea of a serial killer is a compelling and terrifying narrative, the available evidence provided by law enforcement and the medical examiner points toward a series of separate, tragic accidents. It is crucial for the community to engage with this information and understand the real dangers that exist. The public's calls for increased safety measures such as better lighting and fencing are a logical and necessary response to these dangers. These practical steps could prevent future accidents, regardless of the cause. The story of the Lady Bird Lake deaths is a somber reminder of how quickly fear and misinformation can spread in the digital age. It also highlights the importance of community vigilance and demanding accountability and action from city leaders. By focusing on the known facts and advocating for tangible safety improvements, The people of Austin can work to protect one another and reclaim their beloved lake from the shadow of tragedy. Staying safe means being aware of the real risks, the dark trails, the proximity to the water, and the dangers of impairment, and taking sensible precautions to ensure that a night out in Austin doesn't end in disaster.